I think one of the things that comes to me when you ask that question about the new, is a bar and grill on campus that's going to be in the new student union building. I was torn apart in the beginning. And the reason why is because I come from a place on campus who is in the Native American community that is very against alcoholism and anything like that, and I think that doing that was one of the biggest choices for me to go ahead and step back from this situation and let it ride. But as it continued and rising up as a subject to talk about, I think that we as a campus, and especially with Dr. Bartel wanting to build up on what he calls campus in the sky, and build up this community to make sure that everything works better, everything does things better, and I totally agree right now with him. In that is, I put my 110% behind the bar and grill right now, because I think what that'll be will help out maybe with a lot of different things, like community-wise. If there's different shows on campus or different events, you can go ahead and have it there. We can always hang out here on campus, and we can always we can generate funding from the community. That's something that we can't do right now in the town of Durango. I think that's something that will get our name out there, to open it up to, it can be used as a marketing tool or admissions tool to say, oh yeah, we do have this new bar and grill here on campus. It's just located right on campus. But I think one of the big things is, though, that with it, there has to be a lot of regulation with it. And one of the big things is be like security, and knowing that to control the I guess underage drinking. I think that's one thing that needs to be done. And if you're under 21 and you go to school here, that might hurt you, but I think it's still just a factor. Everybody grows up with that, you know. Just under 21, everybody wants to experience new things. But I think one thing, though, is that security probably needs to be a priority issue there, and conducting that, I think, would be a pretty tough thing, not only on the campus police, but would have to probably get some new positions here on campus because of that. I think that that's the main thing, though, is that it needs to be secured. It needs to have some kind of strict functioning rules to make it work. But I think it needs to be in a trial run too. If it runs for 1 year and there's increase of crime on campus, if there's increase of alcoholism problems on campus, then I think then you'd have to turn back to Dr. Bartel and say, well, maybe we need to reanalyze this, maybe we need to re-look at this, and then if it goes positive or negative, I think it just needs to be in a trial run its first year and see if there's any effects, whether it be positive and negative. So hopefully it would be positive.
I also agree with the supplying alcohol in the new union building. I'm in support of it. I think there are a lot of reasons for this. It's very difficult to say I'm in support of this because there are a lot of negative things that can come along with alcohol. But to me, the way that this is set up and the fact that this is a school thing, it seems a lot less dangerous to me than the bars are in town or areas people's houses are and that sort of thing. It's safer and it's easier to regulate, and I just think that it's something that people can take advantage of everything. People can abuse everything that they can do. Every right they have, they can take a little too far. And I don't think that we should be the ones who decide whether they can take it too far or not. I think that that is something that people should be able to decide for themselves. They should be independent enough to decide whether they can handle a beer or not. But I don't think that this situation is going to make it worse. I don't think that this situation is going to cause people to make worse decisions for themselves. You know if you're making the right decision or not, whether there's a bar on campus or not. So I think that's important to remember. It's the students' responsibility to take care of themselves and be responsible for themselves. Another good thing about this is that it's going to bring in the older students and the non-traditional students. Like Seth said, there's a lot of families that live on campus in family housing, and they don't really come to campus very often. We have a lot of non-trads who really they leave after class ends, and that's it. They don't come back. I think the only people that I ever see who come into the current Cub are freshmen and sophomores and people who are involved in the buildings, the rooms around here. And that's not bringing a lot of people in here. This isn't a place where people come to hang out. This is a place where the freshmen come to eat dinner. That's about it. And I think that this is going to help it become more of a community base, like a place for people to come to meet up. They're going to say, hey, let's meet up at the Rocket Bar and Grill. Let's meet there and we'll go from there. Or let's just hang out between classes here. It's more comfortable. We have different places around campus where people feel like they can hang out, but it's not the same as this would be. I feel like this would really build the community, really build that family feeling, and make people feel like this is their second home. They enjoy being here, their friends are here, everyone's on the same level, and it just adds that extra level of understanding of this campus. Instead of just seeing it as a place you go to school, it's a place that it becomes a part of yourself and a place that you belong to. Also, it keeps people on campus. You don't leave right after class. You're going to attend more college events. One of the things that we were talking about before was we really wanted to try and find a way, with this Informed Campus initiative that Nick Durr brought to the table, was to try and find a way to make people who don't hang around campus all the time or live on campus get more involved in campus events and know what's going on. And if you have a base for people to go to, they're going to have a reason to hang around the college longer than just after their classes end. They don't want to sit here at the tables or on the couches if they could go home and have a beer at home and do their homework and, you know, watch TV. If they've got a place here to do that, it's more likely that they will stay and that they'll wait long enough for the event to go on, and they'll know that there's an event going on. There will be people sitting around talking about the event, and they'll go to it. I think it's going to improve attendance for events. It's going to make clubs more popular. It's going to bring in more revenue from the bar itself and from the events that are going on. It's just going to create more going on this campus and more of a feeling of, I want to be here. One thing also to keep in mind is we say this is a dry campus, but it's not completely a dry campus at this current situation. We serve alcohol at gallery receptions in the art building all the time, and we are allowed to do that. They've kind of limited us on that recently because of certain situations, but the reason they limited us is because there's no regulation going on. There was nobody telling anybody not to drink. It was just like, we're serving alcohol, come to the gallery reception and pretend you care about art and you can have a drink, you know, that sort of thing. And it wasn't, I'm not saying that serving alcohol, those things, is a very bad thing, but I'm just saying, don't think that this is going to be the only thing that is alcohol involved on this campus, and don't think this is the first time that this has happened and that it's not going on. And it rarely gets out of hand, those gallery receptions. It rarely does. And I've never been at one where people were completely wasted with all their clothes off, so I mean, I can't say that it hasn't happened, but I've never seen it happen. So I just think you have to keep in mind it's happening no matter what. People are going to drink if they want to drink. People are going to make it work if they want to. And it's just nice to have a place you can go to that's regulated and safe and comfortable, legal, you know, a good place to be at instead of just something out there that you can't regulate. I think this is a very good idea.